Hello, today I'm going to be sharing my beef stew recipe. This is all the meat I used for the stew. I have bacon, short ribs, and long slices of chuck. I froze the bacon into a block last night to make it easier to cut, since I want the bacon to be in nice bite-sized pieces. As the bacon cooks, you want to prep your other meats. You want to cook the frozen bacon over medium-high heat until it's crispy. I'm going to cut the long slices of chuck into thirds, and it's going to give me more of a nice cube shape that I want for this dish. Next, you're going to add salt and pepper to both the chuck and the short rib. You can add quite a bit of both. They're going to be cooking for a long time, so the meat can take the flavor. Now we're going to coat all the meat in flour. This is so when you're cooking it, it's going to leave nice brown bits at the bottom of the pan that we're later going to use when we add the wine. Heat up the pot that you plan on making the stew in, add olive oil, and then add the meat in batches. You don't want to overcrowd the pan too much. You're only cooking the meat to give it a nice crust on the outside, so don't worry about fully cooking the meat. And feel free to add butter if you think it's getting too hot in the pan or if you see it starting to burn. Once the meat is finished cooking, you can start working on your pearl onions. Boil a handful of pearl onions for a minute or two. Once you remove the pearl onions from the water, you need to peel it. Simply slice the bottom and pop it out. We're now going to saute those pearl onions in the same pan that you cooked all the meat in, just to give it extra flavor. Remove the pearl onions once they start to caramelize, and then it's time to add the wine. You're gonna add half a bottle of red wine to the pot after heating it up a bit. This is to de-caramelize the bottom, and we're trying to get all those little brown bits up because there's a lot of flavor in there. We're also cooking the alcohol off of the red wine right now. Bouillon, beef broth, bay leaves, and rosemary. Just enough beef broth to barely cover the meat. A scoop of tomato paste for acidity. Now you let the pot simmer with the lid on for a minimum of an hour, but you can go as long as you want. The longer you let it simmer, the more tender the meat's going to be, and the richer the flavors are going to be. Once you feel the meat is properly tender, you can start boiling your potatoes. Chopping the onions, chopping the carrots, and sauteing both the onions and the carrots in a pan with some garlic in there as well. Potatoes to the pot first, and then add your sauteed onions and carrots. Let that simmer for another 30 minutes, and then your stew is done. Serve with a nice big chunk of bread and fresh parsley chopped on top as garnish.